Welcome, Daredevil fans. We are back to cover episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again. Before we begin, if you like the content, please like and subscribe. I'm covering every single episode throughout this season, ending in episode 9, probably at the end of, I think, April. But anyway, let's get right into this episode. White Tiger, grand opening, grand closing. The highs and lows of this episode, he worked so hard for his freedom, only to get his brains blown out by, it appears to be the Punisher. Number one, I'm not buying it. The Punisher of all people, I won't say he's anti-police, but he's anti the system. And he works outside of the system for a reason. He represents, as a creator, George Conway said of Frank Castle, the failures of law and order. That's why he exists. So even in this situation where, let's say, a majority or half of the city may consider the White Tiger a vigilante or a cop killer, as Wilson Fisk said on TV, I don't see him taking that extreme measure of someone who was vindicated by the system and by the people, by a jury of his peers. So I don't think that was the Punisher. And as it's stated, when Wilson was talking to BB Ulrich, essentially that he was keeping a campaign promise to get vigilantes off the street. And as we've seen through the first 3 episodes, there are a good number of police that have their own secret task force and they're united by the Punisher symbol. So this makes me think we're for sure getting the Punisher back over the next 2 episodes. Number one, to clear his name, and number two, to clean up this mess in the NYPD of cops out there utilizing his name for extrajudicial judgment. So I see him playing a big part in cleaning up this mess. On the other hand, I'm going to expect to see Matt dealing with a lot of guilt about what happened. He worked so hard to liberate the White Tiger. These were some of the best scenes that we had in this episode, the courtroom scenes, because it showed that there's so much gray area in the courtroom. Both sides had very valid closing arguments. The Hawk, Hochberg, who was trying to convict the White Tiger, and then also Matt with his defense. And really, it came down to who you thought was more persuasive. And it turns out that Matt was able to be more persuasive. And I think the fact that he was able to pull this off is because the White Tiger had did so much in the community and he's from the community as well. I think that was the saving grace for him to get exonerated, unfortunately, only to get killed. It was really a gut punch, especially when you saw his wife, Soledad, who he was estranged from, in the courtroom. They finally got on the same page. She was so happy that he was found not guilty, his daughter being there as well. So this is going to be, I'm expecting episode 4 to start with the tragedy of his funeral and the fallout from that. And then Matt is going to be thinking maybe he was better served being in prison as opposed to being out in the streets. So the other big thing about this episode is we're finally starting to see the other side of Wilson Fisk. He's been keeping this mayoral facade up for so long that dangerous criminal mastermind is still underneath there. And this is the first time that we've seen him order someone's murder in the White Tiger. It's not all roses though, even though he has Daredevil in his crosshairs, naming Matt Murdock and his firm Cop Killers. Vanessa's not completely on board. Wilson's idea is to let the rats, as he put it, run amok, eat each other, and then I'm going to come in and pick up the pieces and use myself cleaning up crime to really cement myself as the mayor. Maybe he says he has higher goals. Maybe he's trying to be governor, maybe president. Maybe that's the end goal for him. But for now, and we all know that politicians can do really well running on an anti-crime lobby. So his plan makes a lot of sense. But on Vanessa's side, she spent all this time while he's away cleaning up everything, building this empire, being able to wash money thoroughly. As she mentioned, the Freud piece that she wanted to get was hundreds of millions of dollars that can allow her to wash money. And the wash money is really what got him in office, being able to use that campaign money. So she's feeling upset and pushed to the side as you're treating me as just another underling as opposed to your wife. She doesn't feel in control anymore. And we know Vanessa wants that autonomy. She wants to be an equal voice with Wilson. So now we see a rift between them. My only question is, would Vanessa go so far as to betray Wilson? And that's something that was hinted at when he said to her, let's not be at odds. I need to be able to trust you. And that tells me that he knows that she's at least capable of that. Now, would she do that? That's the thing I'm kind of on the fence about. Now, she has betrayed her marriage vows. She did have a side piece in Adam who's still in the picture. So we know she's willing to do that. But as far as betray him directly, that can lead to him getting killed or lead to his mayoral campaign or mayoral seat collapsing, would she be willing to do that? I'm still on the fence about that. I don't think she's there yet, but if this continues down the same path, I could see her doing it. So keep an eye on Vanessa. And I think Vanessa's the last person that's keeping the humanity in Wilson to a degree. If she betrays him, he's going to turn into an animal. More of what we saw in the first couple seasons of Daredevil. Um, as far as my other favorite moments, I mentioned the courtroom scenes. I love those a lot. I think they really captured what makes this superhero show so unique. My favorite line is what Wilson said about sometimes peace needs to be broken. You need to let chaos reign before order can come in. That really gives an idea of what his plan is going to be going forward. I love the idea that we're probably going to be seeing the Punisher soon. The only thing I really did not like, and I wouldn't say it's more in a humorous type of way. White Tiger, before he was killed, seeing him just walking out in the street like that, I'm like, and you're in all white at night, an obvious target. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking that amulet that he had, maybe it has some type of healing properties or something. Obviously not. Didn't stop him from getting his brains blown out or heighten his senses to know danger is coming. But I'm like, you need at least a car or something. You need to be swinging from the buildings like, Daredevil and Spider-Man do, not just walking and jogging out in the street in all white. That's just not the way to go. It makes you surprised that this didn't happen sooner with him confronting criminals. So that was a little humorous moment before he got killed. But that scene had me cracking up, him just walking down the street like that. So White Tiger's out of the picture. Makes me wonder if we're going to see some other cameo vigilantes coming out from lesser known characters in the Marvel universe. I would not be opposed to that because, as we saw, when the cops lost one of theirs, they came out as a united front. So, with a vigilante going down, are we going to see a potential united front for some of the smaller vigilante characters out there? But the main thing is seeing how is this fallout going to happen with the Punisher? Is he going to be immediately blamed? Did anybody see him? With the big skull across his chest. Obviously, I don't think that's a Punisher, but whoever the murderer or assassin was, him walking around with the Punisher logo on his chest. Did anybody pick that up? I'm assuming that they did. And once that leaks, now Frank Castle has to come back and restore his reputation. So I'm very much looking forward to episode 4. This was more of a bridge episode, but there's a lot of good things that did happen. I wouldn't classify this as a slow episode. I think we got a lot of backstory that we needed with the White Tiger, his Puerto Rican background, got some more of the BB report. I'm just a little sad that he had to go out so quickly, but I'm sure it serves a bigger purpose when we see episodes 4 and 5, which I'm assuming is where we're going to see Frank Castle return. So thank you for tuning in and looking forward to seeing you guys next week. We'll be back to cover episode 4. Thanks again for watching and enjoy your weekend.